Okay, so we're gonna be focusing on sociology paper 2, families and households right now. It'll only be like a 15-minute video maybe. I've condensed all the information from like other sources so that if you just get the basics down on this, you should be fine in the exam, and hopefully by learning these basics you can adapt to it with your own knowledge. So, yep. We got first of all we got the functionist view, and there's two different sociologists we can talk about for them, and it's basically saying Murdoch is saying that there's a stabilizing satisfaction of sex drive. Oh, it sounds a bit weird, yeah, but basically it means that families nowadays they have a more stable sort of relationship. That the mom and dad they they feel more comfortable with each other. So when they talk about this sex drive, it basically means that the reproduction of the next generation has increased. Um, Next we got Parsons. He believes in this primary socialization of children, which is the socialization you have in households, in your family, not in school. This is the very first ever sort of interactions they will have, and they'll carry that on in the future. And that because of this, there's a stabilization of adult personalities. This is sort of known as the warm bath theory. So if you remember that, it means like by having a caring parents, or like maybe calm parents, like reasonable ones, that this primary socialization will come in quick and it will help you in the future. So it's basically by taking you're more relaxed by having you're getting a warm bath, you'd be relaxed. There's some criticism of this though, is that it's out the most like, if you remember this, you can just say it all the time because it's quite a good criticism. It's that it's outdated. There's no modern sociologists that will actually sort of, what's the word? Not agree with it because of how old it is. Also, Marxists say it ignores class inequality, saying it only focuses on it only focuses on the household itself, like the mum, the dad, instead of like what the mum does for work, what the dad does for work, what their class is, and how there's different types of families because there's different class inequalities. Feminists believe that it says that it ignores patriarchy. So patriarchy is male dominated world, so it completely ignores the male view. And also Murdoch only focuses on nuclear family. The nuclear family is the dad, the mum, the sister and brother, and it only focuses on that instead of it seems like a more minimalistic view on society and of the family. It doesn't expand into like beanpole families, extended families, all that. um Next we got Marxist view. There's two more for this. It's Engels and Althusser. Remember Althusser from the other paper, which we can also talk about ideological state apparatus again. But Engels believes in inheritance of property. Families stay wealthy as it is passed through inheritance. So that families are more stable nowadays because of their wealth and because of their assets they have. So basically, say just basically it's passed down generational wealth. So families will always have a source of money come in at the minute, and it's always passed through inheritance. Althusser then believes of the ideological state apparatus, which I've got a definition of Google. It's not. It does seem tricky, but it's not. I'll explain. So it says that the ideological state apparatuses are institutions that disseminate ideologies, influencing how individuals perceive their roles in society. So basically, what it's saying is that if we look at the last bit, influencing how individuals perceive their roles in society, it's basically saying that different institutions will tell you what your role is in society, if you're the breadwinner, if you're the caregiver, and all that. And that this system people will just accept this inequality and just accept what their role is, and it is by passing dominant ideology. So other ideologies, like the breadwinner, they will just keep that with them like a label. And it also supports the capitalist system. So Marxist view, if they talk about capitalism, it's Marxist because they're a heavy believer sort of on it. There's some criticism of this though, is that it's too focused on class. So whilst the functionalist, they said that it didn't focus on class, the Marxist view is too focused on class. It doesn't really talk about like the family, the household in general. It only talks about their class inequality. They also ignore benefits of family and overlook family types. Next, we've got the feminist view. There's two different types of feminists we're going to talk about, and you just remember liberal and radical. Liberal first says culture and norms are reinforced by the family, but family is only sexist as it supports mainstream culture. That kind of don't make sense at the same time. But basically, if we pick apart it, liberal feminists, they believe that their culture, their values are reinforced by the family. So that say they're, I don't know, what they learn is from the family. All their norms, like maybe saying, "Can I get up from the dinner table, please?" All their norms are come from the family. However, it completely gets rid of mainstream culture. So other cultures, maybe other people that just get up from the table and leave, it just they completely are different. They're saying it's sexist as well. I don't know why. But radical feminists, they believe that housework exploits women, but it's because of patriarchal society. So if we pick that out again, they believe that the women, they've got a strong view on this. They believe that women are being exploited through housework, that they are the caregiver, they do their duties in the house and all. That's only what they do. And the only reason why people still believe this is because they believe that a patriarchal society still exists, which you can argue it does, because you can argue that still building jobs, men do it, caregiving jobs, there's still mainly women, also even lawyers and barristers, mainly men, old men. So they believe that this patriarchal society still exists, this male dominated society, and this is why the women are getting exploited still. Delphi and Leonard believe that women must do work whilst men get most of the benefits. So oh my God, they say women, they have to do this work. They do this work for the men, and the men get the benefit of them doing the work by, like, I don't know, just watching, like, young Sheldon, George Cooper, just sits and watches TV and goes to work, whilst Mary, even though she goes to church, she, like, does the cleaning, the cooking, and everything. And the men benefit from this, it says. There are some criticisms to this, though, where it says, not all family structure and patriarchal in modern society. If we pick that apart, that, that there's, in society nowadays, 2026, you could bring real life examples in here, that not all family structures are male dominated right now. So it's not the same. That women do go to, there may be some stay-at-home dads, and instead their women go to work by themselves, making the money themselves, so the woman could be seen as the breadwinner. And that it completely ignores gay lone parent households. You see an increase in gay and lone parent households nowadays, and as this modern view goes more and more in the years, this feminist view will be heavily criticized. And they can, as I said, they ignore the gay lone parent households, so they're only focused on the women in the households, not the men, not the lone parent, the women. All right. Next, we've got the postmodernist view. There's two, Giddens and Stacey. Giddens believe that people have more choice in terms of relationships and family. So this is quite a positive view on it, on families and households and people, and how daughters won't be trained to be the caregiver now. They go to school, they get better grades than most boys. and that pure relationships last longer as they're as happy. So cohabitation are more common. The pure relationships basically mean that the dad and the mum are still together and they're not divorced or anything. And that these, even though there is an increase in society of divorces, like it's heavily increased because it's become more socially acceptable, that the relationships that do stay undivorced, they last longer, and so there's an increase of cohabitation. Stacy believes that women have more freedom to shape the family, so instead of the man telling people what to do, the women now have a say in. Well, they do, but it's become more of a thing that women have more of a say on how the family is shaped. More likely to maintain relationships with ex-in-laws due to access to children, but can also create divorced extended families. So this means that, so say you're divorced, that the say you got a mum and dad, the mum the divorce from their dad, but the mum will still see maybe the grandparents from the dad side, and that creates more relationships which are called ex-in-laws. And this is because the children obviously are going to have to see both sides of the family, so it makes it more accessible for them, and that creates this divorce extended family type. Like example, maybe like my dad and my mom, they're divorced, but my dad does still see my nan from my mum's side, and they don't mind it. So that's what you can call a divorce extended family, and that is what my dad basically called my nan an ex-in-law. Real life examples used in your work. This will be good in your assessment if you add real life examples to show that you've got a deeper understanding of society. So there's obviously more than this, and you can obviously think about how what other ones are there? Maybe like, oh, we could talk about the divorce laws, how it's more socially acceptable, and that was really recent. Also, how maybe it was illegal to actually rape your wife in families. You remember all this from class and that. But the ones I've got here is that in 1967 legislation of contraception pill. That means it's that the contraception pill became like legal. 1978 Employment Protection Act, so it protects people from like being fired, and 1970 Equal Pay Act, which is a big thing, as there was a massive with like the third wave feminists and that there was a massive lot sort of what's it not riot but like pressure in a way to get equal pay for women. This might be the final slide. We'll do this together though. That we need to know the different types of family, because if it's a question you need in the exam, you need to know the different types so you can like evaluate and analyze more. So first you got nuclear families. I said 2 parents and 1 child. You know, we can write that now. 2 parents, 1 child. Extended families are includes other relations, sorry. So it's extended. There's more of lone parent be like one parent raising children. That seems quite common at the minute. Same sex, same gender couples with or without children. Some obviously will have children, some don't. It's not biologically possible for same sex to have a child, but you can adopt. Beanpole families, if you remember, they're multi-generational, but few are children. Now over here we've got this is different types of family diversity in a way. I'm not sure if we've done this, but it does ring a bell. But organized sort of family diversity is the different family roles. They're sort of keywords in a way. Different family roles. Culture is different due to ethnicity or religion. class, middle, what's I gonna say? Middle, or like working class, family structure, life stage, structures vary by age, and generational attitudes differ across generations. Now, I'm gonna go back to all of these so you can maybe like pause on them or whatever you need to do. How the fuck do I? What is it? Oh. Remember functionalist, Marxist, feminist, postmodernist, real life examples, and types of family. That's the basics of sociology paper 2. Obviously, it's not all of it, but if you do learn that, you should be alright. I know a lot of people are stressing, but yeah. And gonna do a politics one soon. So, yeah, cheers.